Hi everyone, welcome to Your Next Move. I'm Shrey, and today I'm joined by Swapratim Roy, who is the co-founder and CTO of Marvin XR. Welcome, Swapratim.
Thank you, Shrey. It's nice meeting you, and thanks for inviting me in here.
Thanks a lot for coming in. Actually, so I just want to talk to you about the whole AR space today because I myself, like personally, I love this space. I'm interested in this space. So Pratim, tell me about the whole space and how is it evolving in your opinion?
That's a very interesting question. The whole XR industry is actually evolving very fast, especially if you just consider the whole last decade. Well, it's not a very new technology, but it's evolving very fast because what we have seen so far in digital and print world is always kind of a 2D pictures, 2D images. Even all the cinemas, movies, and everything what we see, most of them are actually in 2D. So when you see something in 3D, just like the exact reality as we see, and you can recreate the whole experience before in the digital, media or in print media, it absolutely blows the mind of the users, and that creates the magic of the whole XR. So it could be like AR, augmented reality, it could be a virtual reality, it could be a mix like an MR, mixed reality, or it could be an extended reality. But eventually, the fun fact is that when you just put the whole, a creative new paradigm of reality inside the actual reality, like you are seeing the dinosaur is moving around, in the living room or something like that, it just blows your mind. And that's where I think the whole, the fun, the buzzwords, all the enthusiasm going around this extra world is promoting itself. And I think it will just go around, it will grow maybe for another couple of decades in the future as well, because that's the kind of a next leap, a next step from what we have seen for over centuries as kind of a digital or print media. Well, digital wasn't existing before century, but print was there always. But digital was evolving for last 50 years, and we were always getting stuck in the same 2D paradigm. And somehow, in from last few years, we're getting the freedom and taking a leap from 2D to a 3D world where things will be more like the real world that as we see everywhere, and that will be more coming into the creative industries, advertising, marketing, the entertainment for movies and all the stuff and everything we are going to see in the next future probably will be wrapped around somewhere in those XR experiences. So that's what I think is a very exciting time, to be honest.
And what's your opinion about web AR versus app-based AR?
Well, the major difference between app-based and web-based AI is like you need to download a huge, big size app eventually in your mobile. It could be like 500 or 700 MB sized app, and then you start experiencing something in AR. Well, the AR always need not to be like hour long, so it could be like few seconds. So sometimes it doesn't matter that, or it doesn't make much significance when you download a 700 MB app for 10 seconds of experience. Also, what we are seeing nowadays is the most utilization of AR by the brands for the advertising or creative things. So, for example, you are not going to download 700 different apps in your phone, it will just crash your things. On the contrary, when you use web AR, web based AR is the same thing like an augmented reality experience, but without the app. So, eventually, you are just opening a web browser. Instead of typing google.com, you're just typing a web URL and seeing the AR. So that's like no baggage coming around with an AR experience. You open it, have fun, you get bored of it, just close down the browser. That's it. You don't have to keep that app running in your phone, draining all the batteries and resources. So that's the biggest benefit of using AR, web AR over AR. At least that's from my perspective.
Right. And Marvin XR is also into web-based AR. So can you tell me about Marvin XR and how did you start and where are you right now and what are the plans?
Absolutely. Well, I was always interested in AR because who is not a fan of Iron Man, to be honest? So whenever you think something like in 3D, it always comes to mind how we can get it. And the only way of doing it since last one decade was using the apps altogether. But the problem, I that was my personal experience, because whenever I was trying to download like 5 different apps, it was almost killing my phone. And every time I have to go like 15 minutes of learning time just to know that how to utilize that app. And then it's a 10 second of experience and blah, I don't need it anymore. So it was like a very tedious way of experiencing thing, because in compared to a TV commercial, it's very easy. Switch on the TV, have some fun, and you close the switch off the TV. But it doesn't work that way in the AR app. So that's where I thought something of, as if we can, democratize or generalize the AR experience with some kind of easy form. And that we started with Marvin XR to generalize or democratize the whole AR experience with web-based AR form. Because then, number one, from an end user perspective, I don't need to be very much dependent on an app download, keeping an app, updating the app every time. I am getting interested in something. I just scan a QR code, click a button, open a web browser. I see the whole experience. And that's like, wow, it's 10 seconds, I'm in. And then after a few seconds, I'm done. Or maybe after a few minutes, I'm done. Then I don't want to keep that browser. Close it, end of the story. And it also gives another perspective to the creators, because they don't have to spend like months creating apps, going to the Play Store or iStore, uploading them, maintaining them. It just gives them a huge cost structure on top of those projects. So WebMaster is very much lightweight and easy to go. You can create a whole AR experience within less than 5 minutes, and that's the beauty of it. So that's where we founded the Marvin XR, so that you can technically create a web app experience in less than a 5 minutes, and then you can publish to the whole world. And the beauty is that you don't need a specific platform to publish it, because it's a web URL. So think about this as google.com. So you can simply use anywhere. It could be in website, it could be in social media, it could be anywhere. You just click a button on a website and it just comes up. Even you can use it on a print media, like in a QR code in a print magazine or a billboard. You just put some QR code or some web URL link, and
Right.
anyone can type in and scan the QR, and all of them can eventually connect it to a single AR experiences, even they're coming from digital or print world, which is the biggest benefit we thought that we could actually bring with web AR platform. And that's where the whole which we came up with a platform which is called Marvin XR, which is kind of a studio that actually leverages the pain points of the existing phenomenon of AR world, and we're just trying to diminish them and make life more easier both for the creators and for the end users.
Yeah, there's a lot of innovation that can be done on the creator space now because the technology is almost there. It obviously is not completely there, but then I guess a lot of innovation can be done in the creator space. Like, I mean, so for example, you have the platforms like Marvin XR where you can
Hmm.
create an AR experience. But then, if let's say an artist comes in and says, I will convert 10 of my art pieces into AR in such a format that you can go somewhere and view it, or let's say somebody comes up with good image tracking experiences which can be used in, like, let's say while you're walking down the road in a street full of history, you can just probably scan a QR code and then like look at a frame, and that frame can give you a sort of an experience that you otherwise won't get. So it's like in your inside your phone you can kind of time travel. So things like that can be done, and it kind of always keeps my mind going. um so I, like, in that context, I wanted to know, if someone wants to move into this industry, whether as a creator or, let's say, as with a business idea, or just as an employee in any domain, right, whether it's technology or operations or marketing, what's the best way to move into the whole XR space?
Well, it's a very interesting question. The first thing that comes to my mind that next few years is going to be ruled by the creators economy, because what we are seeing with the boom of internet is like everyone can create a digital asset or digital creation, and then they can actually sell out. Eventually, they don't need to be a software engineer, they don't need to be a writer or a very specific creative person. Anyone which having some kind of idea, they can generate and they can make money out of that idea and selling over the
Right.
internet. From that creators economy perspective, I think it's very important that people can express their ideas, then they can express their creativity, and AI is a very dominant platform to present or to uh, publish those ideas very easily. So my take would be like, mostly people who are coming from different domains, from different creativity zone, they're not going to be very specific. Let's say, for example, software engineer, right? So they are not coders, they're not builders. So they need some form of easygoing things like drag and drop pickup things and something they can easily use. And there are plenty of platforms going on coming up, and they're coming with various and awesome creativity and awesome products. They can convert their thought process into image, they can turn image into different 3D shapes, they can turn 3D shapes into AR. So there are very different forms of AR. When we talk about very advanced level of AR, for example, like HoloLens 2 from Microsoft or some Magic Leap 2 or other stuff. These are very advanced, and I guess the software engineers or the very specific engineers are very capable of doing this type of stuff. For example, the developers. But Web Air is kind of a platform. I could see that eventually people can easily come around into these platforms. Not essentially, it could be Marvin XR, it could be any one of them. The basic facilitator, the basic positive side of this, I could see like most of them, a lot of them actually, where people are coming with no code platforms. So eventually, you don't
Right.
need to know about coding, you don't need to know about how to package or bring an app and something like that. So if you have a creativity, if you have an idea, if you have a picture, for example, a time travel experience, it can be a creative artist making a whole 3D experience in an animated zone. VFX is another example. It's dominating the industry for years, the Hollywood movies and all. So they could create all these experiences, and somebody could just upload in a portal, just like upload, done. And then the whole, let's say, for example, a web AR campaign or a web AR experience can be built automatically in those studios or in those platforms within a few minutes. So for a non-technical person, all they need to know is how to express their ideas into 3D creativity, and then simply just go somewhere, upload systems, and then make the whole experience and publish to the world. And then they
Right.
can, express their ideas, they can sell, they can market, and they can do a lot of stuff. But what I think is people should mostly focus on no code zones or no code platforms. And that's what we are also trying to move around a bit, because the creators economy will mostly be dominated by ideas, unique ideas, and that actually adds values to people. So when they can actually convey faster their ideas to the world, it will be more easier for them to get recognition in the
Right.
internet world, and also for the end users, it will be easier to communicate with them without having those too much complexities of technology. And well, it looks awesome, but how can I use this? This kind of question should be more and less should be heard of, so that the interaction between the creators and the consumers should be more often, and that could open up a whole new domain of creativity. And from your questions perspective, I think that's a very good point. Anyone from different domains and different industries with couple of months of learning, they can easily enter. Not only a couple of months, I could say a couple of weeks could be enough to just learn few things, take a step, create some small dummy projects. Then you see that how good you are or how comfortable you are, and then you start your journey with this kind of creative space. I think that's interesting.
Right. Yeah, I guess a few projects here and there, and then you can just make a portfolio and apply to companies because
Exactly.
um, right now this whole space is like it needs people, and there are not enough people, I guess. So
I'm pretty sure. I mean, the way I'm seeing the job market, it will be needing more and more people very soon, and there will be not be sufficient amount of skilled resources coming to these kind of domains. So there will be
right.
a huge gap which if people can take a small steps, they can easily fit them and they can get a good, job portfolio easily from where they are towards higher and where they aim to go there.
Right. Okay, great. Yeah, these were some really good points, Supratim. Thank you so much for coming to your next move.
Thank you, Shrey. Thank you so much. It was a nice conversation, and I'm happy to be here. So have a great day then. Talk to you
Thank
soon.
you. You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.